I know over the years you've experienced and you played with a lot of different things. And one of the things that I'm super curious about is finding out, like, what is this movement is metaphor stuff? Because in a little chat we had, you mentioned it, and I was like, this sounds amazing. Everyone should hear about this. So won't you just kind of like, for those like me who'd never heard of it before, won't you just give us like a quick rundown? It's like what it is and how does one use it?
Okay, so I discovered a guy called Chandler Stevens, I think in COVID year. And I think, when everything was online, when we were shut down and everything was online and people were offering free everythings and just to try and keep everyone sane. And I discovered him on one of the, I actually can't even remember the name of it now, but it was one of the summits where, they had various different teachers from around the world and they would teach a session of something or other. Anyway, I discovered him. His stuff sounded interesting. And I think, if I remember correctly, I might have watched one of his videos, and the way that he spoke was like he was speaking my language. I was like, what? There's another person who can actually verbalize like what's in my brain, and I can understand what he's saying. So I followed him for a while. I did his free stuff, and then I decided to sign up for a year-long course with him for Movement as Metaphor, which really is a combination of movement together with a metaphor coaching practice, where you utilize using a metaphor to figure out how to begin to make changes in your world, in your daily life, whatever. Like generally we feel stuck with something. So I would then, or he would, whoever's doing the practice really, we would figure out what is your metaphor. And for an example, I'll give you an example of one that my sister gave me actually when I worked with her. And hers was that she felt like she was on this hamster wheel and she was just going around and round and round and she just couldn't get off and she was tired all the time. And, just life was very fulfilling because she was just on this little hamster wheel of work all the time. And so we begin to find the metaphor that works for the person that you're working with. And then we do a little bit of a like diagrammatic questionnaire. And we ask the person to move from side to side, backwards, forwards, and we begin to get a little bit more of an understanding as to the full situation. So, if for my sister example, if I say to her, okay, well, if you had to take a step forward off that hamster wheel, like, is it something that you feel like you are able to do, or are you stuck? Like, are your feet grounded into this little wheel? And then if you imagine taking a step behind the wheel, what's behind you? Like, is there something behind you? What's to the right of you? What's to the left of you? And you just begin to get a little bit of a bigger understanding as to what's happening within that feeling of whatever you're feeling. So obviously it's different for every person. Some people can feel like, they're stuck in the mud. But then how deep are they? Is it just their feet? What's to the front of them? Are they able to take a step while they're stuck? Do they feel like they're drowning? And it's just very interesting because the metaphors are quite eye-opening. They can give you a lot of information in one little sentence, really. And then you would then work with that. So whatever information comes out from the metaphor, you would then begin to make or encourage, or I don't even know what the word is really, but encourage a change. So for example, with my sister, one of the changes that she was asked to utilize in her working situation was to take a tea break. So instead of just going to work and working flat out and then working overtime because she's trying to get all of the work done, it was to take a pause, to take a 10-minute tea break, to step outside, to drink her tea, notice whatever's going on around her, and then go back into the work situation. Whereas so that you then begin to utilize spaces in your day where you can pause, reset, and then continue, so that you're actually giving your brain a little bit of a break, your body a little bit of a break. For her, it worked. It just took her out of that sensation of just being in front of the screen and working an entire 9-10 hour day. You know, then it was a similar thing, like when she gets home, what's the first thing that you do when you get home? How can we change that? Can we change a habit? And obviously, you know, I mean, with habit changes, it takes a while, but it's just to become aware of your patterns of what are you doing the same of every day, and that is contributing to that feeling of whatever you're doing.
That is
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is you've like literally hit the nail on the head, because that is exactly what happens in life. Like if we have